Well, hello there everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another wonderful wonder around the beautiful county of Devon. Today we're in Ashburton. We're going to have a wander around, see what there is to do here, see what there is to see, and of course, as always, you are invited. Shall we go? Come on then. Looks like this is the town hall. There's going to be a fair bit of history here. Ashburton, very famous for its antique shops, amongst other things. You can tell spring is just around the corner. Look at that. Oh yeah, you got to find a waterfall, haven't you, eh? Oh my goodness, look who I found here. It can't be. It's Gordon. What are you doing here? My goodness me. It's a small world, isn't it, eh? Well, welcome to sunny Ashburton. Some lovely buildings along here, actually. This is luxury lets now. Wow. That's nice. A very handsome house, as I would call it, that is.
I love the architecture.
Yeah, the meeting house. And here's another one, look. Isn't that lovely? This is the old schoolhouse. That's nice, isn't it? And again, luxury lets. So if you want to rent somewhere that's a bit quirky, here's your place.
It's nice, that, actually.
It is nice. Right, so we've been to the information centre. We've got our little map of Ashburton. We know the places now that are worth seeing. So we're going to go and have a little bit of a wander around and see what we can find. And one thing I do want to find today is the old railway station, which is still there in a form, and I'll tell you a little bit of the history around that as well. Tell you, I'm amazed how busy it is for traffic here. It's really busy. Anyway, a quick view of the co-op. A lady just stopped us and she said, oh, if you're filming in Ashburton, have a look at Ashburton Co-op. And she said, look above, and on the tiles you can see hearts, spades, all the signs of a pack of cards. And the reason they are there is because it used to be a gambling house, and apparently during its time it was also a brothel. Should we go and investigate? Perhaps another time.
So we're currently in Church's Ironmongers in Ashburton, and this actually used to be the Mermaid Inn, and hundreds of years ago General Fairfax had his headquarters here. But this, which you can just see a little bit your end, is the original cobbled streets of Ashburton. It is steamed up because it's been a bit damp. And if you just come to the back of the store, you can see a set of old stairs. There's some of the original stairs. They don't go anywhere now, but you can see where they would have gone.
Oh yeah, so you can. I wonder if they're haunted. So this is the shop where that was inside. That's fascinating stuff. And also the Civil War reached right down here into South Devon as well. And I don't know if you can see on the sign, but it says General Fairfax, after driving the royalists out of Ashburton, lodged here, formerly the Mermaid Inn, in 1646.
The old archway just here. Fabulous.
So here we are at the museum. And would you believe they used to have a bull ring here? Look at the sign.
The bull ring was actually became known as that because in years gone by they used to drive the cattle down here, and they had a big enclosure that looked like a bull ring.
Fantastic. Lovely. And there's something interesting about this guitar shop, I do believe, but we'll find out in a second.
Car park. Yeah.
Say that again? Yeah, by the river, by the car park.
Yeah, it goes underneath the road,
Yes.
bends up, goes under the other building. And then
Yes.
you can
So
see
this is the river.
Yeah.
You can just see, I don't know if it'll pick it up on there, but you can just see the river going under the floor of the shop. Amazing.
Just give it to me. That's
What a stunning shop this is.
No. There's hundreds of stores. Well, let's talk about it, alright.
Fancy buying one, Gordon? Fancy rekindling your musical talents?
I wish I could.
I wish I could as well. I've got a lot of friends in the prog rock industry who play these things brilliantly. I wish I could. Ashburton's only small, but it's got some wonderful shops and it's got a lot of character about it. Individual shops. Even the Barber's is an interesting place, look. So we're going to head up this way and try and find our way to the church.
I hope you can see in here there's a lady making bread, and it's Briar Bakery, all organic, and they're doing sourdoughs and all sorts. Fantastic little store. Loads of local honeys and ciders. Perfect. My sort of shop, this one. Briar Bakery. So you can see they're only open certain days. I think that might have been Kerry that we were watching. But they actually do sourdough and rye. Wonderful.
Ashburton Arts Centre. You get some good acts on here. Now I do a progressive rock radio show, as a lot of you will know, and our friends the Black Heart Orchestra have played there in recent years. A lot of good individual artists, not only local but from around the UK as well. It's always a good venue. I've never actually been in here myself, so we must check it out sometime. Oh. I do like passageways that lead to unknown places, except, well, we do actually know it's going to the church, but they're usually pretty. There's the bins again. Always has to be bins, but as I always say, you've got to put your trash somewhere. $11 St Andrew's Church. What a great sound, isn't it? Well, we found our way into the churchyard. It was a long walk round to get to it, but it's an enormous churchyard here. And I bet there's some very interesting graves. There's a Celtic cross. If you've seen our video from Widdicombe in the Moor recently, then we found a grave there with a Celtic cross. And of course a lot of the graves in Devon and Cornwall have Celtic crosses because a lot of the families here have Celtic history. And of course Devon was Celtic land before they were pushed further west down into Cornwall. Let's see if we can find some really interesting old graves here. Interesting logo on there, or insignia.
That's somebody who was in the Royal Bodyguards.
The Royal Bodyguards. My goodness me. So that must have been the insignia. Another one behind it as well, exactly the same. And on this one, it's an artist, Frederick Foote, artist, and look, on his gravestone is an easel. Isn't that nice? I do like it when it shows something about what that person really did and who they were. Look at this, that's quite a memorial, isn't it? And this is for Marjorie Vivian, the dearly loved elder daughter of William and Laura Hearn.
She died at 15.
Only 15 years old. But what a beautiful memorial for her.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you can see the size of this churchyard. It's absolutely enormous. The lady did tell us it's the biggest open space in Ashburton, which is hardly surprising. But for a very small town, there's a lot of people here, but I suppose it caters for all the surrounding Dartmoor villages as well, because of course we are right on the edge of Dartmoor. And sorry if anybody thinks I'm being maudlin by touring around graveyards, but I do love them actually. I know we all get to spend a long time in one eventually, but hopefully not for a while, eh? But I do find them very, very fascinating, and they have a sort of a strange peace about them.
So while we're here in Ashburton, just to tell you a little bit about it, it's one of the first 3 stannery towns that was given that recognition by King James I. Stannery Town was where they brought the tin into town, refined it further and made it into coins and used it as currency. This is one. There's Tavistock and Chagford were the other 2, and Widdicombe was sort of added on as a much later date. So it's quite an interesting history here.
And much like the church in Widdicombe in the Moor, where we were on another video just recently, another church here on the edge of Dartmoor with a very, very high tower. And the camera probably doesn't illustrate that so well, but that is really, really high. But of course they would have served all the surrounding hills and quite a big rural population. There's a wonderful door here. This is the door to the bell tower, woo, which is way up there. And what's good here is that they'll actually tell you what it is as well. So that's the door to the bell tower, and inside the bells are rung most Sunday mornings, calling people to church. And yet another beautiful Devon church. And I love how the sunlight is just cascading along the end there. Now this has such an amazingly powerful feeling. Wow. Yeah, you can see the window perfectly positioned to catch the sunshine. Isn't that just absolutely stunning? Just time for a moment of quiet reflection. Look at the beautiful candelabra, made 1778 in Italy. And then as we look up here, just above the pulpit, the actual pillar is made out of granite, but you can see the little bit of stone holding up the wood, and that is from Beer in East Devon, apparently. And stunning stained glass windows. Nice area for the kids there. And then as you look across, just look how the light is coming through these gorgeous windows. Thank you so much. Another gorgeous Devon church. And as I always say, no matter what your religious beliefs, if you have any, are, even if you don't, these buildings are just wonderful pieces of architecture with so much history as well. Right, time to move on. Still loads to see here in beautiful Ashburton. And as we always like to do when we come to churches, we did this just yesterday in Cockington, lighting a candle to the memory of those loved ones who have passed on. So another lovely trip to the church. Here's the river, listen to that. Yeah, there must be some public toilet somewhere. Anyway, we've just had some liquid sunshine, but it's gone, yay! So we're now making our way to try and show you a little bit of South Devon railway history. So here we are, a little bit of South Devon railway history. We're at Ashburton railway station. Now this was the terminus of the line that used to run from Totnes, where it joined onto the main line. It would run up to Buckfastleigh and then terminate here on the edge of Dartmoor at Ashburton, an Ashburton station, and the line was opened back in 1872. Now of course everything comes to an end when it comes to railways. They stopped passenger services to Ashburton back in 1958, and then eventually the end of the goods train service in 1962. But the good news was on the way for part of the line anyway, because the Dartmoor Valley Railway bought the line in 1965, and then in 1969 started running trains up to Buckfastleigh from Totnes. They applied for permission to continue the line right up here to Ashburton, but the Devon County Council refused it because they had plans to use part of the old track bed between Buckfastleigh and Ashburton as part of the new A38 dual carriageway. But the railway station is still here, as you can see, part of it. Now if we look at this old picture, I don't know if you can see on here, I'll try and stop the wind from blowing onto it, but you can see a picture here. Now that is the station taken in 2014, and if I turn it round, and I'll show you another picture here of the station just after the line closed, and here's one of the last trains to leave. So here in front of us, on the left hand side is the goods shed, and on the right hand side is what remains of the railway station, which is now a garage. It used to be a covered railway station, so the line would have come in right here through this car park, and then it would have gone into the station on the right hand side, and any good stuff would have gone into the left hand side. Yeah, so you can see along this lane where the railway would have come. It would have come straight through that car park, and then through this car park, and then into Ashburton station here. What a lovely old country terminus this would have been back in the day. Nowadays you have the roar of the A38 just off to our right hand side, and it's turned into an industrial estate. But I guess that's progress, eh? But at least we still have the line from Buckfastleigh down to Totnes, which is a beautiful heritage railway. And if we look very carefully here between the front and the back buildings of the old station, you can actually see a little bit of the old railway line. And this would have been the back part of the station, which is now a garage, so I better not go in there, but let's just have a quick look. And you can see the wood, which would have been the start of the old covered bit of the original station. And here's a pub. What's it called, Gordon?
The Silent Whistle.
The Silent Whistle, because it's right next to the station.
And
Yeah.
there's no station anymore.
No station anymore, which is why the whistles went silent. But still, it's forever remembered as you have your pint here. And one last look at the old station. Just imagine, Gordon, back in the day, would have been a hubbub of activity here, people with their baggage, and they'd have got on the train here and taken the train down to Totnes, where they would have connected with the train to Plymouth or maybe right up to London. So there you go. As I say, you can still get on the train at Buckfastleigh.
That's that corner wall, how it's shaped down there. The
Yeah,
old pub.
that's the old pub, the Silent Whistle,
Whether it was
and another church just behind it as well. Anyway, I think it's approaching time for a drinky, Mr. Gordon. I don't know what you reckon. And maybe a bite to eat, and then we'll have a little bit more of a look at Ashburton Town Centre. So here's the other church. This is the Chapel of St Lawrence, given to Ashburton by Bishop Stapleton around 1314. Then it was a grammar school until 1938. Another lovely Devon church and another striking tower, look. Look at that blue sky. My goodness me, not bad for February in Devon, is it, eh? There's the church hall next to it as well. Now, I don't know if this one is open. We've just done a comprehensive tour of the other church, so we probably won't do with this one. You can only take so much in one video, can't you? But look, here's the old stocks. Now look at this. Now if you were naughty in Ashburton, this would be your fate. Back in the busy main street. And this looks like my sort of shop. I like this. And a view down the busy main street here in Ashburton. I think this is called East Street, if I'm correct. And here we are back in North Street. Remember that door from earlier? And the wonderful ironmongers with its colourful produce. And I think it is definitely time for lunch. What do you reckon, Gordon? Definitely. Yep, time for lunch.
I want to go to the old library.
Well, this is where we had lunch today, and I can only say, if you're in Ashburton, come here for your lunch. Absolutely fantastic. Now, it doesn't look much today, but this is actually a very special pub. It's currently being refurbished, and this is the old Exeter Inn in Ashburton, one of the oldest inns in the world. It was built during medieval times to house the workers of St Andrew's Church, and in 1130 AD it became a brew house and has been in continual use as an inn ever since. That's quite incredible, isn't it? In fact, it's the oldest free house in continual use in the world. And there you are, Sir Walter Raleigh was arrested for treason here in 1603 before being carted off to the Tower of London and then beheaded. Well, just before we go, we're back in the churchyard here at St Andrews in Ashburton. The reason we're here is we're looking for a very special grave, but I don't think we're going to find it. We've been looking around for about half an hour and not found it yet. But we're looking for the grave of Henry Baskerville. Now, there is a very familiar name on Dartmoor, and to fans of Arthur Conan Doyle's Hound of the Baskervilles novel, of course. Now, Henry Baskerville was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's driver, and he drove his coach around Dartmoor when he was doing the research for the novel The Hound of the Baskervilles. Now, the Hound of the Baskervilles novel features a character called Black Hugo. Now, he may have been inspired by tales of Squire Richard Cable, a monstrously evil man from Buckfast-Lee. Now, legend has it that on the night he was buried, a pack of phantom hounds came baying across Dartmoor to howl at his tomb, and that on the anniversary of his death he can be seen leading the phantom pack across the moor. Oh, blimey. Anyway, we couldn't find Sir Henry Baskerville's grave, so he remains undisturbed by us at least. Anyway, I think we're just about done today. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already, or give us a thumbs up. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again on the next one very soon. Take care. Bye for now.